I want to bring in Matthew Whiz Buckley. He's a retired Navy Top Gun fighter pilot and chairman of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. Thanks for being here today. I want to play one more thing from a witness who saw the scene.
We've had witnesses telling us that the helicopter seemed as if to stop in midair and there were pieces of the helicopter falling off before it actually hit the water. Have you heard of that? Do you know why? As part of this investigation?
You have anything on?
Yeah, I think the entire incident is under investigation by the NTSB and the FBI and obviously local authorities as well.
Is that something that you have seen, that you have heard witness accounts of?
It's consistent with 911 calls and witness reports.
So, but what Tish was just saying there is that the witness who said that they witnessed the helicopter breaking apart was consistent with other things that they had heard from 911. Whiz, what do you think happened here?
Well, good morning, Dana. It's just absolutely devastating. There are so many moving parts in a helicopter, and all of those parts need to work flawlessly every second that the motor is turning. Helicopter pilots actually have a term for one of the pieces. It's called the Jesus nut. It connects it's the main rotor retaining nut, and they half-jokingly call it the Jesus nut because if that thing fails, there's absolutely nothing they can do. So the tail rotor, the tail boom separating, and the main rotor separating means something absolutely catastrophic happened to this helicopter, and there's just simply nothing they could have done. Helicopters, if they do have a problem with the motor, they can auto-rotate, and this helicopter was equipped with floats. They could have landed safely in the Hudson, but since none of that happened, in order to auto-rotate, you have to have a rotor, and both of those rotors were gone, sadly.
I see. Nate Foy mentioned that Transportation Secretary Duffy will be in New Jersey today. He already was going to be here, and then he is going to add something here. He said this, that the tour helicopter was in a special flight rules area established in New York, which means no air traffic control services were being provided when the helicopter crashed. Several minutes prior to entering the special flight rules area, air traffic control from LaGuardia Airport was providing support. Would that have mattered here?
No, Dana, they allow these tour helicopters to have their own little Battle of Britain airspace. They're allowed to fly around without having to talk to anybody. Otherwise, it's really going to overload the controllers in an already busy area. So they operate under these special rules. But Dana, these tour helicopters, they're workhorses. These things are up, down throughout the day. And with that amount of flying, you really, really have to be on top of the maintenance. So those divers and the NTSB are going to be trying to find every piece of this helicopter to try and literally put it back together to see why it came apart.
You know, there is a temptation from, I think it's a human temptation, maybe also partly the media, but it does feel like we have covered a lot of these high profile incidents of late. We'll put them up on the board for people to see. You don't necessarily need to remind everybody. But we had a series in January and February, and that mostly dealt with planes, but then this helicopter. In general, though, air travel, pretty safe.
Danny, you nailed it. It's passé to say, but it's the truth. It is more dangerous driving to and from the airport. There are approximately 120,000 folks that die, sadly, every day in car crashes. Thank God there isn't 120 people dying every day in aviation mishaps. I think the advent, now sound like I'm old, the advent of cell phones and closed circuit, we're seeing videos. If it bleeds, it leads. So seeing all the cell phone footage of this definitely makes the horror hit closer to home. But I've been in aviation close to 40 years, and only for about half of that have we had this type of technology to be Johnny on the spot to see it all. So I think that helps it hit a lot harder when we can see the pictures before these folks got in this airplane. I mean, God bless these souls. It's just absolutely devastating. But I think the technology is bringing these mishaps a little closer to home than they used to in the past.
Whiz, thank you. Your expertise is always greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.